Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dive into something really fascinating. We're demystifying the 7-level ladder of watch movements. We really want to separate the actual engineering reality from, well, the luxury marketing hype. Because look, for the last 50 years, the watch industry has spent a lot of time and money convincing buyers that climbing this ladder to the top is the ultimate goal. But to really understand what's happening on your wrist, we need to look a little closer. So we're going to break down exactly what each level does, what it costs you, and honestly, where the smart money probably stops climbing.
Here is a quick look at our agenda for today. We'll be climbing this ladder chronologically, starting with basic $5 quartz modules and going all the way up to $500,000 handcrafted masterpieces. We'll hit basic quartz, premium quartz, entry mechanicals, the mechanical sweet spot, brand prestige, and finally, watches as art.
All right, Section 1, Basic Quartz. This is the bottom of the ladder. Now, this is where roughly 90% of all watches exist. Whether it's a trusty Casio you grab at a gas station or a fashion watch from a department store, this is where most of us start our journey, usually without even realizing the incredible piece of technology we're actually wearing.
And here is a wild reality check for you. A $30 basic quartz watch outperforms a $20,000 luxury mechanical watch in accuracy by a staggering ratio of roughly 50 to 1. 50 to 1. I mean, that's insane, right? Inside that cheap casing is a clinical, highly engineered circuit board counting the pulses of a tiny quartz crystal. And that crystal? It's vibrating exactly 32,768 times every single second. This tech costs literal pennies to build, but it guarantees you'll only be off by about 15 seconds a month. So let's be clear. There's absolutely nothing wrong with quartz. It is an undeniable feat of pure utilitarian engineering.
Okay, moving right along to Section 2, Premium Quartz, or what I like to call the hidden truth of the watch world. This is where basic modules get leveled up into a highly engineered tier that the luxury industry honestly likes to downplay. A lot of mechanical watch purists kind of pretend this level doesn't even exist.
But the engineering gap here is absolutely massive. Take the Grand Seiko 9F movement, for example. This thing actually watches the ambient temperature and adjusts its frequency to compensate for thermal expansion. Because of that, it drifts by maybe 10 seconds a year. A year! It leaves standard, hyped-up mechanical watches completely in the dust. We also see movements like the spring drive at this level. That one uses a traditional mainspring for power, but an electromagnetic brake to regulate the time, getting you an accuracy of plus or minus 1 single second a day. When you put that up against the celebrated luxury diver that drifts 50 times more, you quickly realize that dismissing premium quartz, well, that's really about brand identity, not engineering.
Which brings us to Section 3, Entry-Level Mechanicals, sitting at Level 3. This is the turning point where you ditch the battery entirely and gain a physical rotor and mainspring. Think of engines like the Miyota 8 series, which power almost every mechanical watch out there under $500. They're built fast, they're built cheap, and they're perfectly reliable.
But here's the thing. At this level, physics takes the wheel. You've got this mesmerizing rotor sweeping around with the movement of your wrist, storing up physical energy. But your accuracy, it's now objectively worse, drifting maybe 20 to 30 seconds every single day. So what's really happening here is that you aren't buying a timekeeper anymore. You're buying a sensation. You're paying for the romance of a mechanical heartbeat on your wrist. And hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You just have to acknowledge that you're paying for a feeling, not a function.
Now for Section 4, the mechanical sweet spot, Level 4. This is the mid-range tier, and honestly, this is where the price-to-performance curve basically flattens out entirely. For most serious watch collectors who want a daily wear, this is the engine room. The math here just makes total sense.
In this sweet spot, you basically have three main pillars dominating the space: the EDA 2824, the Sellita SW200, and the Seiko 6R series. These movements are bulletproof. In fact, the ETA 2824 is often called the Honda Civic of watch movements because it's just so reliable, easily serviceable, and absolutely everywhere. And get this, with proper regulation, these movements meet the exact same strict Swiss COSC chronometer standards for high accuracy as luxury watches that cost well over $10,000. We're talking an accuracy of -4 to +6 seconds a day. Honestly, if you stop climbing the ladder right here at Level 4, you've essentially won the game. You get an incredibly reliable, highly accurate mechanical watch, and you didn't have to make an embarrassing financial sacrifice to get it.
But what if you do want to keep climbing? That brings us to Section 5, Level 5, Paying for Brand Prestige. This tier is all about completely in-house manufacturer movements. This is where a brand actually designs and builds its own movement from scratch, instead of buying it from a supplier like ETA. And as our source perfectly puts it, once you leave that sweet spot, you really stop paying for timekeeping and you start paying heavily for brand identity and status. You'll see incredible movements here like the Rolex 3200 series or Omega's coaxial calibers. There's immense research and development involved, things like anti-magnetic silicone components or entirely new, complex escapement designs. The engineering is genuinely beautiful, but the harsh reality? The actual marginal performance gain from level 4 to level 5 is remarkably small.
To put it into perspective, you might end up paying a massive $10,000 to $30,000 premium for maybe a tiny 5% gain in accuracy. Think about that. A $4,000 watch with a level 4 movement keeps time basically just as well as a $12,000 watch with a level 5 movement. So at this tier, you're really paying for flawless finishing, the brand's massive infrastructure, and of course, the huge social signal that wearing that brand provides.
Finally, we reach Section 6, Levels 6 and 7, when watches become art. This is where the industry abandons the concept of everyday utility entirely. We are leaving the world of everyday wearers and stepping into a realm of pure, breathtaking human mastery. Level 6 is all about haute horlogerie. These watches strictly adhere to incredible finishing standards, like the Geneva seal. This is where you find the tourbillon. Invented by Abraham Louis Breguet way back in 1801, it's a cage that constantly rotates the escapement to counter the effects of gravity on pocket watches. Now, does it have practical benefits on a modern wristwatch? Highly debatable. But mechanically, it is mesmerizing to watch. This level is also where you find perpetual calendars that mechanically track leap years all the way to the year 2100 and minute repeaters that literally chime the exact time using tiny, tuned hammers and gongs inside the case.
And then we hit level 7, the absolute summit, master-built, unique pieces. This is one single craftsperson spending an entire year to build one single watch, entirely by hand. Independent masters like Philippe Dufour or Kari Voutilainen perform every step themselves. Every single edge is hand-beveled, every screw is carefully heated to a perfect blue, and every plate is finished under extreme magnification. At this point, you are paying for what one pair of uniquely gifted hands can produce in a lifetime. And these pieces, they easily sell at auction for over $500,000.
But here is the ultimate takeaway we need to talk about. The highest profit margins in this industry rely on blurring the line between utility and art. The watch industry doesn't make its real money on levels 1 through 4. The massive margins happen above that, where the narrative magically shifts to prestige. Now look, it's perfectly fine to spend our money on human craft and status. That's a valid choice. The problem is when the industry's marketing makes you feel somehow ashamed of your perfectly accurate level 4 mechanical, or even your level 1 quartz, by pretending that dropping $30,000 is somehow about getting a better timekeeper. It's not. So, before you rush out to chase that next tier in your collection, I want to leave you with a question to really chew on. Are you climbing the ladder because you're looking for a better timekeeper, or are you actually investing in wearable art? If you just want a beautifully reliable machine, stop at level 4. Only keep climbing if you know exactly what you're paying for. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and I really hope this helps you navigate your own journey up the ladder.